today I'm going to teach you how to add a luggage sleeve or a trolley sleeve, whatever you like to call it, to your Nocturne everything bag. Now, this particular tutorial can be for any bag, not just the Nocturne. It's just that's what I'm using for this tutorial. And the Nocturne everything bag really is the perfect bag to add a luggage sleeve or a trolley sleeve to. All right, so we're going to do two different ways. The first way is going to be more basic, and the second way is going to be a little less basic, but still very basic and very usable. First one will be just rectangles onto our outer panel. The second one is going to be more of a slip pocket style, where you have an opening in the middle, but you still have pockets on either side, so that it's more useful, right? That's the goal. We're going to start with the very basic one. I'm going to move my handles out of the way here. Okay. Oops. There we go. And here are the supplies that we need. We need our outer panel. We need 2 of our luggage sleeve pieces. This is 8.5 across by 6.5 deep. I'm using the size large Nocturne. If you're using a different bag, you can adjust the height here. So this is 6.5. You can make it taller, you can make it shorter based on what your needs are, the size of the bag. This is 8.5 here. It's going to finish to about 7.5, give or take, once it's on here. Measure the suitcase that you want to use it for. All of mine my handles measure 6 inches across at the widest point or less. So 7.5 should be more than enough to give it the space that it needs, but that's adjustable based on your needs. All right. So I need my outer panel. I need 2 of my luggage or trolley sleeve pieces, plus 2 SF101. I've already adhered the SF101 to these pieces, so we are ready to get started. Additionally, you'll need some clips or pins. You'll need some sort of turning tool, something to help you get crisp corners, and you may need a hem gauge or some sort of measuring tool. All right, we've got everything we need. Let's get started. First thing, we're going to place our 2 luggage sleeve pattern pieces right sides together, okay? And we're clip and pin them if you need to. And then we're going to head to our sewing machine. And we're going to sew around our rectangle, but we're going to leave about a 2-inch opening here. So no sewing between here. And in fact, you can grab a marker and you can mark yourself here and here. And we've decided we're not sewing there. Okay. So we'll head to our sewing machine and we'll sew all the way around here. All right, let's go do that. Okay, here we are. And once I got over there sewing, I realized I don't think I told you the seam allowance. So I used a 1/4-inch seam allowance all the way around. It's really important that you interface this. Even vinyl will stretch. So if you're using vinyl or you're using canvas or something that feels like it has no stretch, right? Even quilting cotton feels like it has no stretch, but it actually will stretch. So it's important that you use interfacing. I used SF101. You can use some other lightweight to midweight interfacing that you would like to use. That's totally fine, but don't skip that part. All right, so 1/4-inch seam allowance, make sure you use interfacing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to each corner and we're going to clip close to that corner without going through the stitch line. So all 4 corners. Now we've got our opening here. We're going to turn it right side out. So now I'm going to take my tool, and you can use any tool. You can use this. You can use the point of your hem gauge. You can use, I don't know, a pencil. And there are also these turner tools that I actually have, but I cannot find. So we're going to use this because it's got this nice corner, this point here. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to push that point into the corners, getting as crisp a corner as I can. All right, so it's not going to be perfect necessarily. Some of us are perfect, some of us aren't. I'm in the not perfect camp, Now let's get our iron and our pressing mat. I'm very excited. I just ordered a new pressing mat and I can finally get rid of these old crappy ones. It's going to be a good day. Okay, so now we're going to press this. Now you can see you still got your opening here. You're just going to push those raw edges to the inside. They want to go there. They'll push themselves or kind of point themselves to that wrong side. And let's press. All right, so here we are. It isn't perfect. And I can get in there with my turning tool and push this out to try to correct anything that I don't like. Okay, don't be afraid to get in there. And don't be worried about imperfection. If it's bad, you can fix it. It's not that bad. I don't care. Okay, that looks a little bit better. This one kind of swoops out. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to head back over to our sewing machine and we're going to top stitch all the way around here, making sure we get our little opening here. It's got to close, and we're going to top stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Okay, here we are. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to find the center of both the top and bottom and both of the sides. So we're going to fold the short sides together and clip where the center is. Now we're going to fold the long sides together. Get the center of the side seams. All right. This is going to help us with placement. So let's grab our panel here, and you can see that I've already marked the center, side center, and the top and bottom center. Sorry, my brain isn't working today. Now I need to center this on there, so I'm able to match up my markings or my pins, however you want to do that. We are now centered. Now grab some pins. You want pins. You could also use wash away wonder tape, but I find that pins are more effective. If you use wash away wonder tape, you're just going to put it down the sides on the wrong side. If you're using pins, put them wherever you want. Okay, so I'm going to take my clips out of both of my pattern pieces here. We're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch from the edge on both short sides, and then go back and do 1/4 of an inch from the edge to get 2 rows of top stitching there for as much security as possible.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I used white thread so you can see every little tiny mistake I made. I highly suggest you use matching thread. It makes a huge difference. And any mistake you might make, if your lines get a little wobbly, it totally covers. Okay, so now we are done with the basic rectangle. Our suitcase handle will slide up through here just fine. Okay, once you've finished it, you want to test it. You want to make sure that it fits. So I'm going to put my suitcase up here on my table, and hopefully you can see. Move this out of the way. I'm going to pull my handle out. All right, so now the goal is we want it to fit, right? So I'm putting it on backwards just so you can see it. And it fits perfectly. This is the widest one that I have, and you can see I've got room. So as I fill my bag, it's going to give me plenty of room to continue to use this, okay? Let's move on to our slip pocket style. We've got another outer here. And again, we've got our luggage sleeve fabric. It's also interfaced with SF101. Do not skip that step. So the first thing we're going to do is place these right side together. Just going to put just a couple clips in it. We're going to head over to our sewing machine, and using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, we're going to stitch across both long edges. All right, here we go. Now we need to reach in. We now have a really long tube. We're going to reach in and we're going to turn this right side out. So just give it a nice tug. So now we have this right side out. Let's grab our pressing mat and our iron. All right, we're going to start at one of these seams here. We want to make sure that the seam, you can see that seam, that stitch line is at the very top of this pocket here. Okay, so if you've got to reach in, you got to push that out, then do that. And you want to press it. Take your time pressing because you want this to look nice. And same for the rest of it. You should see the seam line right in the center as you lift it up there. Okay, we're going to do the same for the bottom. Very nice. Okay, now let's head over to our sewing machine. And we're going to top stitch. Very simple. Across the top and across the bottom. All right, here we are. Now we have to make some markings. So that means we need to find the center point of the long side. So we're going to match those short raw edges. You could do a finger press, so it's just a memory. You can use a marking tool. You can use pins. You could use clips. So I've done this. You could see the crease, but whoopsies. But I'm going to put pins at the top and at the bottom. So that's the center and that's the center. Okay, I'm also going to grab a marker because I'm going to need that, a fabric marker. Okay, so now we've got our center marked. The thing is, we're not going to leave this whole thing open. The whole point of this method is to give us pockets on either side to have more use of this back panel, right? So we found the center. Once we've done that, we're going to measure 4 inches to either side. Okay, and just give it a little mark. That's 4. There's 4. We're going to do it on the top and on the bottom. Oops. 4 inches to the right and 4 inches to the left. Sorry. Okay. Now, this makes it a little wider than our plain rectangle one. So you can bring that in. You can do 3 3/4 inch from each. That'll give you it'll make it a 1/2 inch smaller. Not a huge deal. It's up to you. I just did 4 inches because it's easy, right? It's just an easy number to measure to. But again, this is based upon your needs for your suitcase. They're all a little bit different. You just, you got to do what you need for your suitcase. But the 8 inches here will more than cover it. All right. So now we're going to connect those dots. Make sure you use a marker that is like disappearing ink, a fabric marker kind of thing. This one is disappearing, so it will eventually disappear on its own. Now we can take our pins out. The next thing I want to do is I want to find the short sides. I want to find the center there. So I'm going to fold the long sides to where they're matching. And then I'm going to mark the center of the short sides. You can mark or pin or clip. It's up to you. Okay. Now let's grab our outer panel. And we are going to match up these side seams, or these side markings. Okay. And if you need to do some adjusting, that's fine. It's up to you where the placement is. If you want it to be dead center, then make it dead center. If you want it to be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, it's up to you. I just kind of centered it because that's easy. All right, now I'm actually going to add a couple of pins here just for some stability. Now you can mark, you already have a center, that crease here, and that matches with my top and bottom center markings, so that's good. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I can add some clips here, however I want to do that. Okay, it's up to you. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to head to our sewing machine and we're going to stitch from here, making sure to really secure that, to here, across. We want to back stitch here as well. We need security. Across here and up the raw edge. Then we're going to come over here, making sure to back stitch a lot and doing whatever you like to do to secure your stitch. You can use rivets, what have you. After you're done, you can use rivets, I should say. Come all the way down, across, and up the raw edge. Let's do it. Okay, there we are. Let's take our pins out. And as you can see now, we've got pockets and we've got our little opening here. So we'll test that real quick. I'll pull my suitcase back up here. And let's grab our panel. And you can see that it fits perfectly. Okay, and then you've got places to put whatever you need. Your phone, a notebook, pens, whatever, chargers will fit great in here, things like that. This is a great little project that makes larger bags even more useful. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.